Okay, this is a tough one. Because the kindest thing you're doing for your dog right now might be the cruelest thing that's happening to them. And that's why no matter how much you love them or how many treats you use, your dog is still anxious and reactive. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 ways that gentle parenting can really backfire, what it's doing to your dog right now, and my structure reset method that will actually fix it. Now, the first way starts with something that most owners don't even clock as a problem. Rewarding, demanding behavior. You've probably done this today without realizing it. You know, your dog paws or barks at you, whines, pesters, just stares you down, and you respond. And not because you're weak, but because it feels kind. And the problem isn't giving your dog attention, by the way. It's that every time you do give them attention, every time you do respond to that demanding behavior, your dog learns that they control your actions, that they can get attention whenever they want, like no matter what else you're doing. Like, that's irrelevant. Think of a child running into your room, calling your name when you're mid-conversation with one of your friends. You tell them to wait and ask politely. But we just give dogs exactly what they want as soon as they do that. And the dog that always gets what it wants in the moment and never learns to handle not getting it, well, that's exactly how you make a spoiled brat, right? And that is also exactly where the anxiety and the frustration are coming from. So here's how to fix it. Pick 3 demanding behaviors your dog does that you would never, ever let your child get away with. For each one, just do 2 things. Give them the opposite of what they're demanding for, and then actually give them attention when they do the calm version of what you want instead. So here's a quick example so you can see exactly how simple this is and can really, really be. So your dog walks over and whines and or stares at you for attention. And quickly just remember, the whining could be swapped for barking or nudging you with their nose or jumping up or pawing at you. So they're demanding for attention. So instead of giving it them, do the opposite. Calmly get the collar, say nothing to them, don't look into their eyes lovingly or like you feel bad for them, and just take them out and shut the door in another room. And keep them in there for around 5 minutes. Yep, that's right, you heard me, 5 minutes. Now, some dogs might kick off when they're in the other room. If your dog does do that, drop me a message in the comments and I'll help you out with that. But for now, just put them in there and wait 5 whole minutes. Now let them back in when they are calm, and then rinse and repeat the moment they do any demanding behavior again. And by the way, this isn't like a timeout. This is a loss of access to you. It's the opposite of what they were after when they were demanding for attention. And then remember, once they are behaving nice and respectfully, just like you'd want from your child, well then, for the love of God, give them love and affection. Just don't make it super exciting, but give it to them for being nice and polite. So, reward the calm, ignore the demanding, and that's it. And that's just the first one. Because while you're busy responding to every single demand, something else is happening everywhere you take your dog that's quietly doing just as much damage. Protecting your dogs from discomfort. Now this one stings a little bit because, well, it comes from a generally caring place. So let's say you're on a walk and another dog appears, so you cross the road. And then a bigger dog approaches, so you pick your dog up. Or you're at the vet's or at your friend's house and your dog just looks uncomfortable, so you hold them close and you shield them from the rest of the world. And also, whilst everyone else is trying to comfort them, basically you see anything that might upset your dog and you remove them from it before they even have a chance to learn how to deal with it. And every single time that you do that, your dog learns one simple thing, that there really was something worth being afraid of. Because if you, their owner, keeps saving them from it, then it must be a real threat, right? You see, confidence in a dog isn't built by removing discomfort. It's built by learning to move through it. A dog that you constantly protect never gets to learn the most important thing, that they actually can handle life. So if removing them isn't the answer, what is? Here's what you do. You make a quick list of places and situations where your dog gets uncomfortable. The easiest to the hardest. And don't overthink it. And then start with this simple routine at home first before you take it out to the easiest place on your list. If your dog's food motivated, here's what you're going to do. We're just going to lure them any way you want. Don't overthink it. So I've got some food here. Have it covered between your fingers and your thumb so your dog can't get it. Put it by the nose and just slowly move. Think about your hand and their nose being glued together. Following you around, following the hand. Don't do this. Don't pull too fast. Stick it by their nose and guide them into sits. And if they know down, great. Down. Good. Sit, yes! He gets a little bit. Get them used to following your hand. Kneel, good. periodically just give them little bits. So if you could break them into small pieces, that's great, because then they can get a little piece. And then you want to finish each little couple of minute training session with getting them into a sit again, sit, and just getting some eye contact. Yes! Every session, you're just going to have a few more seconds of eye contact before you say yes. So if your dog is toy motivated, not treat motivated, or they just prefer toys more, what we're going to do is we're going to build their drive up for one specific toy. So get one toy that they already love, and you only bring that toy out for this little training session of a couple of minutes. And so what you're going to do is you're just going to wiggle it around. Good boy, good boy, good boy. Make it hard for them to get. When they do finally get it, have a bit of a tug with them. Oh, good lad, good boy. Get them to drop it. Kneel, drop. Sit. Wait, have tiny little bits of obedience. Okay, buddy, yeah, good boy, good boy, good boy. And here's the key point, right? Because this is technically just play with a tiny bit of obedience, but there's a key to it. Once you've finished a couple of minutes of training, you're going to run off with the toy and put it in a cupboard or something out the way, and it doesn't come out until next time. Now, you want them to chase you, okay? So I'm going to unclip his lead for safety, because you want them to build the drive up. Okay, oh, where's he going to go? Where's he going to go? Where's he going to go? So now I've put it away in a cupboard, and now he's waiting by the cupboard, bless him. He wants to go and get it, and that's how you want to leave it, okay? This is going to build your dog's drive, going to make them want to have that toy over and over again, so that then when you start doing this outside in your scary areas, your dog is going to be obsessed with the toy. And if you're thinking your dog won't take treats or play outside, honestly, that is completely normal. It just means that your dog's too overwhelmed right now. But you see, this drill fixes that, because it builds their confidence and engagement with you. It gets them to learn to work and trust you. And they get used to that routine at home, and then you take it to the easiest place on your list, and you work slowly there. And then slowly build up to the harder places, and that's it. Now, even when you start doing all that, there's still, of course, going to be moments where your dog still reacts. And you see, what you do in those exact moments is where most owners accidentally make everything worse. Comforting emotional reactions. And you see, this one feels like the most natural because, well, it's exactly what you do with a frightened child. So your dog sees another dog and starts barking, and you immediately start saying, it's okay, don't worry, good boy, you know, while stroking them or trying to feed them a treat. And then even worse is knowing the reactions coming and knowing that you can't actually escape and get away. So what you start doing, you start saying, good boy, that's it, good boy. But let's be honest, what you're really thinking and what you really want to be kind of saying is, please be a good boy, that's it, keep being a good boy, just because they haven't actually reacted yet and you're that desperate to not have that full-blown meltdown. And see, to you, it feels like you're calming your dog, but you see, dogs don't understand comfort in the same way that humans do. See, what your dog understands in that exact moment isn't reassurance coming from you. It's part of the same cycle happening again. So you're scared too, trying to soothe them whilst, well, actually you're confirming to them that this is the behaviour to do. So instead of them learning there's nothing to worry about, they learn that mum and dad are just as panicked and will actually reward that state of mind that they're in, which is what you're doing when you think you're actually comforting them. That does not build confidence. That builds dependency. And in fact, even worse, it builds codependency with no one in charge. And a dog with no one in charge will never truly feel safe in those situations. So here's what you do. The moment your dog sees a trigger or your dog has already started reacting, stand still and do nothing. If you're on a walk, I'm assuming, then you'll have the lead on, right? And if this happens at home, then put a lead on them in advance. But yeah, just stand still. Do nothing. No words, no pleading, no comforting, no begging. Just plant your feet, get a good grip of the lead, and breathe. Now, I know this sounds, well, probably hard and probably stupid, but it isn't either of those things. You see, because every time you think you're helping, you're accidentally encouraging. So we just need to stop participating in the cycle of chaos. And if you do, what will happen will probably surprise you. You see, I've had hundreds of clients tell me that they were amazed at how their dog calmed down the moment they did absolutely nothing.
A couple of occasions where I just haven't done anything on purpose so that I don't share my panic with him, and that's like really helped me over the time to calm down. So I've noticed that he's got calmer as the week's gone on.
You see, it takes the edge off the reactions almost instantly, and sometimes it removes them completely. And it's the foundation that everything else will get built on. Now, there's also something else happening underneath all of this that makes every single one of these problems worse. And it's the one that most gentle parenting owners push back on the hardest. So let's get into it, shall we? No boundaries or consequences. Somewhere along the way, boundaries have become mean and consequences have become cruel. So your dog pulls you really hard on the lead and then you try to bribe them back into heel with treats and they jump up for attention, maybe even clawing and scratching you, and you carefully get them by their paws and place them down on the floor and maybe even give them a little pat on the head, a bit of fuss to go with it. Or they charge through the door, bashing into you without a care in the world for you and your personal space. And you immediately want to move because you think you're in their way. And it's normal to say, well, this is just what dogs do, but it isn't. It's what our no boundaries and no consequences, gentle parenting world has made them do. You see, if your dog was a child, you would think they are rude, ignorant, and bad-mannered. But when it's a dog, it's just how dogs are. And I'll say it again, it isn't. See, we're just not guiding them the way that they actually understand, the same way that they would teach each other. And without that guidance, your dog, they're not being difficult. They're just confused with right from wrong. So let's get rid of that confusion for them, eh? So this is all about consequences and boundaries. So now I'm going to give you 3 separate areas that you can train throughout your day to enforce that. The first one is doorways, thresholds. Your dog needs to know there's a consequence if they blow you off and just go flying through the door. So, the consequence is they hit the end of the lead. Now, this doesn't mean if he was attached to a huge dog and the huge dog stood there and he flew out, the same thing would happen, right? And they wouldn't feel bad for each other. So don't feel bad yourself. They hit the end of the lead, bring them back in, shut the door. Only go to open it again when they look calmer. If they aren't calm and they're wound up, they need to practice the consequence. You need to practice patience. You just have to stand there and wait. Once they're calmer, you go and open the door again. If they wait nicely, then you can go out. Now, the second time is if your dog's begging for food. Now, this can be when you're actually eating your meal. I've just got a bag of chicken here that Neil really wants. Here's all you do. You take your dog to their bed, have the lead on for control. Neil, bed, lie down. Now, have your dog far enough away that if they went to move, you can say or no. That's the marker, that's you saying that's wrong. And then get the lead and take them back over before they get a chance to get really close to you. I've got Neil close here so you guys can see it all together. So if I'm doing this, then I'm going to encourage Neil to move because he won't normally. So forget I say okay. So it'd be, Neil, okay. I'd go I'd get the lead, take him back over, down. Good. And then go back. Now, a quick tip, do this with a fake meal. Don't do this when you're actually really hungry because it's going to get frustrating and you're going to want to eat your food. So eat your food, have the dog out of the way, and then bring the dog in, have them lay down on their bed and microwave some scraps. And every time they move, and take them back. And just keep doing that. And this is a boundary. The front door was a consequence. This is a boundary. You need to stay on there while we eat our food. And it's really, really important because it's exactly what they do with another dog. They might not go and lie on a bed, but they would keep away from the other dog that's eating if the other dog doesn't want them near them. This is not about you telling them off for being near you. This is just about that word again, a boundary, and that's it. Now, the final one is your dog on the bed again, but for a different reason, for them to be able to stay on the bed for a prolonged period of time. So rather than 5 or 10 minutes while you're eating your food, that once they're tired, you've taken them for a walk, you've done all the things that you will do with them in their day-to-day life, that you will put them on their bed, and then you can pitter-potter around, and if they move, mark it, down, good, good boy. And don't make a huge big deal. You can say a little gentle, calm, good boy, but don't make a big deal out of it. And your job here is to teach them that if I put you on there to lie down and to settle, so remember, don't do this if they're ramped up full of energy, that's not fair. When you've already tired them out a little bit, then that's your job. And think of it like your kid when they have that phase where they come out of bed 19 times a night to ask for juice, to say their socks falling off, they have tummy ache, you know what I mean? And what do? We just take them back. It's the same thing with the dog. And this again is a boundary. When we put you there to lie down and to settle, that's what we expect from you. We don't expect you to just get up and keep pottering around. Remember, time and a place. Don't do this when they're full of energy. Do this when they're already calm. Another boundary, really helpful. I'll have your dog stop pestering you and it will aid and increase your bond and relationship with each other because you won't have a dog that pesters you, that drives you insane. You'll have a dog that knows they can settle on their own because you've said so. And you can also have the dog, Neil, okay, that can come over and have lots of kisses. Yeah, and lots of cuddles. Oh, is he a good boy? You after that chicken. So from now on, all you are doing is making things clear. That's it. And when you put all of that together, the comforting, the protecting, the lack of boundaries, there's one thing that it's all building towards that most owners just completely miss. Creating dependency instead of independence. And this is where everything builds to. Your dog follows you from room to room, sleeps attached to you. They can't settle unless you're in the same room with them. And look, I get it. It's easy as an owner to think that, well, my dog just loves me. And you'd be kind of right. But it's less love and more obsession. Because what the dog's actually thinking is, I need this person to feel safe. Don't leave me. And the stronger that dependency grows, the less capable the dog becomes of being on their own. And the result of a dog that can't cope is a dog that can't function without you. They're either completely shut down, or they'll howl and they'll chew and they'll destroy your home if you leave. Also, when you are home, they'll literally follow you everywhere and they will jump to attention the moment you try to move. And here's the really, really hard part about it all. See, you're probably trying so hard to make your dog feel safe and loved, but you're accidentally creating a dog that's less resilient, less confident, and more anxious than ever. Because confidence in yourself, for the dog, and being able to be on their own just for a bit is built by gradual structure and exposure in the right way. So let me teach you how. So if you're trying to create some independence in your dog instead of having them obsessed and fully dependent on following you 24/7, here's how you start it. You take them over to their bed, have a lead on for control. Kneel in your bed, darling. Lie down. And all you're going to do is walk out of sight for 1 second. So if that's like behind a doorway, for 1 second. And then back into sight and sit down. And if any time they move, you're going to go, that's the marker. Then you're going to take the lead and take them back over. Don't give them fuss, don't give them attention, put them back in the down. Try again. So we're going to do that now. When you get a successful repetition, don't give love and affection. You do not need to. You've been away for 1 second. You don't need a huge reunion. You haven't been away for a 2-week holiday. Do this around 10 times on the trot. When you can do it 10 times on the trot without the dog moving, then you aim for a couple of seconds of disappearing, and 5 or 10 seconds of disappearing, and so on. And you slowly build up the time. And this is the first stepping stones on how you start creating an independent dog rather than a fully dependent on following you around 24/7 dog, which is a much healthier mindset. And you see, when you look at all those 5 things together, a pattern starts to emerge. One that explains almost every reactive, anxious, out of control dog that I have ever worked with. Because none of these dogs are broken. None of them are difficult. None of them are just like that. You see, what gentle parenting has accidentally done is take a dog that is born to follow clear leadership and just left them in charge of everything. So the anxiety, the reactivity, the dependency, that's not your dog's personality. That's what happens when a dog has no one leading them. And every single thing we've covered today isn't punishment. It isn't harsh. It isn't old-fashioned training. It's just a reset. It's back to what your dog actually needs, like back to what they understand. Your dog doesn't need you to be softer. They need you to be clearer. And the moment you start doing that, everything changes. So what we've covered today is just the foundation. The structure reset is where it all starts. But if you want to take your dog all the way from completely reactive and out of control to calmly walking past another dog without you giving it a second thought, well, that's exactly what my 90-day transformation program is built to do. Step by step with my guidance the entire way through. And if you're ready to stop managing and actually start fixing it properly, the link's down below. That's where you start.